Raise your hand if you've ever felt like you were living a perfectly ordinary life and without any understanding, there was a freight train coming towards you and you had no opportunity to brace for impact. July 10th, 1990, 9 a.m. in the morning. It was a beautiful sunny day, and it seemed it was time we were finally going to meet our new baby. We rallied the troops. My sister and my mom came over to look after my daughter. I packed my bag. We jumped in the car, and as we backed out the driveway, I blew kisses to my lovely, supportive family. We were so excited to meet our son, and we were really looking forward to bringing him home to introduce him to all the people who loved him so much already. 3 days later, we gathered. It was to witness the little white casket being carried across the beautiful green grass. My breast milk came in on the day of my son Robbie's funeral. I was suddenly struck with the realization that I would never be the same again. Over time, it became abundantly clear that society wasn't ready to hear my story. So I stopped telling it and I buried my pain deep into my heart. We carried on with our life. I loved being a teacher. It was a passion, and finding something to love in every student had the rewards that you can never imagine. We had the courage finally to welcome another baby into our world, a beautiful baby boy. Life was good. With the busyness of family and working, it seemed that everything was okay. Little did I realize that lurking in the depths of my heart was still the betrayal of trust in the medical system, the trauma, and the deep pain of an untold story. And another freight train was roaring towards my life to crash into it again. My beautiful mom who was the rock of our life after my father died when I was only 18 years old, was diagnosed with cancer. She lived her life and led from her heart with love and kindness, and thinking about losing her was something that I had a terrible time trying to get my head around. After she died, I started distancing myself from others. And I think when I look back on it, it was to protect my fragile heart. I hardened my heart and I started living my life from ego. I was living in the past, trying to control the future, and missing out on all of the beauty of the present. I decided that I needed to find a way to ease this terrible pain. And so on a warm summer night, I went outside, I lit a candle, and I surrendered to God. I just threw up my hands and I said, God, what is it that you want me to do? I then quieted myself and I waited for the answers. It's so interesting to see how these answers come to you. And what I found was a note that I had written to my son on the day of his funeral. And you can see where my teardrop stained the ink. It was a promise to love him for the rest of my life and to live my life centered around love. I broke my promise. With my son, my mom, and my dad all in heaven, this promise needed to be reinstated because it was now a promise to all of them to live my life knowing that love is always the answer. I want to invite you to believe that love is the answer and to grab any old piece of paper, doesn't have to be fancy, and write to yourself, first of all, how much you love yourself. Make a promise to love yourself. Also, make a promise to find something to love in every person that you meet. Look past what you see on the outside and dig deeper and find what's in their soul and love it deeply. If the weight gets too heavy to carry, then surrender. It could be the universe, it could be to God, whatever you believe in. Say the words, God, universe, tell me what it is that you want me to do. It was only when I quieted my mind and I was freed from some of this pain and despair that I woke to a whisper one morning. And the whisper was, write your story. And I knew right away what story it was I was to write. When I started writing my book, the words just flew through my fingers, and it was from outside of myself, just like the whisper was to write my story. It was the divine knew it was finally time, and it certainly was. After I wrote my book, I found so much peace, and I was able to open my heart completely again. And I will tell you a little secret. It is my favorite part of myself again. All you need is one little mustard seed of faith to move even the biggest mountains. I believe in you. Can you feel the warm hug wrapped around you? You are not alone, and love is the answer.